anyway, finally for our last story. So we were talking about Sony earlier regarding they're going into the FPV realm of creating their first ever drone to capitalize on their uh, photography market, selling DSLRs, high-end cameras and so forth. So to cater to those, they're selling a drone, and it's not cheap. Obviously, it's going to cost you $9,000 here. So that's a lot of zero. So that's $500,000 if you look at it. So they teased their development. Where was it? They officially debuted it. So let's take a closer look. Yes. So it looks like a regular drone here if you were to take a closer look. But obviously, you look at the bottom, you can see a sort of a gimbal which holds a DSLR camera, which obviously they would like to encourage you using Sony cameras, which I'm using, by the way. Anyway, so they're calling it the AirPeak S1. So it's a version 1. So I'm assuming there'll be other versions in the future. So obviously, they're getting into this RAM to be able to cater to professional filmmakers here. And what's interesting here, and can fly at a very fast speed in terms of speed of 55 miles per hour in just less than 4 seconds. Now, is speed important here? Obviously, creating that cinematic look over a cliff, over in a forest and whatever. So in making it cinematic, you need to be able to move at a certain speed. Now, is faster better? Not really. But what's interesting here, the drone can carry a full frame mirrorless camera in this case. So as you can see in the drone here, now can they carry an actual camera outside of a mirrorless, maybe an ARRI camera or even a red camera here? But with the way things are, it goes bigger and bigger. But what's interesting here is they're promoting that it can carry different Sony cameras. You have the A9, A1, A7R, A7S, and the FX3, which is the recent release here. So whether that's for you, obviously it's not going to be for enthusiasts here. So maybe if you're a YouTuber, you might be interested in it, especially if you're a travel channel and so forth. You could use it a lot, or your business in photography or in video here. Now, what's interesting here is, even though it can fly fast, or it can even hold a stable flight, even if there's a wind up to almost 45 miles per hour, so it's still stable. But the downside here is the flight will only top out at 22 minutes. Now, when it's fully loaded, it reduces by 10 minutes. So imagine that you have an FPV with your camera. I don't know, I'll be stressed the whole time if I'm the one shooting it, because if it goes far enough, let's say you only have 5 minutes to go one direction and then 5 minutes to come back, and then it would drop. You can just imagine losing your FPV drone, which is worth thousands of dollars, and then your camera, which is worth another thousands of dollars, and then add the lens and so forth. So you can just imagine the nightmare that you're conjuring up if you're dealing with this one. Now, what's interesting here is, despite the limitations of the time limitations mentioned, it has several features which comfort for many users, especially for a large amount that you have to invest. So there are sensors and onboard cameras for the drone to survey the surroundings, meaning it can automatically avoid obstacles. And I don't know if it has the same features like the DJI, the professional one. So if it, for example, it loses connections with the controller itself, or connection for whatever reason, normally a low budgeted drone, it would just drop down to earth, right? But for a more premium product, you expect it to be still hovering in air, and maybe you could just click a home button, then it would return automatically regardless. So at least your drone is safe, your camera that's way expensive, that you're assured that it would still be safe. Otherwise, I don't see the sense of using it if the reliability, meaning being able to trust it, that when you use it in the field, that it will not do more harm than what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. So they're mentioning also that it could be a dual operation here. So someone is flying the drone while someone else is, obviously that's the whole point here. someone would focus more on the flying, what scenery angles that you're supposed to be focusing. Then a camera operator will zoom in. Let's say you want a tighter shot on an individual or a setting and so forth here. Now, is it for everyone? Not really. So obviously when you buy the item, you know what's interesting, they're offering the drone itself has 4 propellers, a remote, 2 batteries. Wouldn't it be nice to have a larger battery capacity? But anyway, and a battery charger. So would you be interested to buy it? You know, even just for leisure? Maybe you could buy a cheaper one from the DJI brand. Anyway, so the model Airpeak S1 is going to be available later this year. So if you're interested of buying, you know, the drone from Sony, you have to wait a bit.